Happy Veterans Day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another fantastic episode of Left Wing. I am TJ Whitehead, powers taken, not given, joined by the U.S. military's most ardent supporter, John Cooper Paz of Counterpoint Politics, and returning guest, Carlos Alvarez Araños from American Opposition. How are you doing today, my friend?
I am doing, it's been an intense day. I'm doing well and I'm super excited. But at the same time, I'm heavily disappointed in the Democratic Party. And I think Chuck Schumer has to go. Hakeem Jeffries has to go. A lot of things to talk about. But yeah, I'm doing well. I'm feeling good. Excited for the 22nd in DC when we're having our big rally.
Oh,
It's been a wild 48 hours. It's crazy, TJ. We were sitting here on Thursday, and we were celebratory. We just had this blue wave. We were talking about how the Democrats can hold on to this shutdown for months. We were just given all the proof we need. It's not going to hurt them. It's going to hurt Republicans. They have all the leverage. And then Friday, it's like, oh, they're offering to kind of back down on some of their red lines. Oh, that's weird. But maybe it's just a final negotiating position to push something through. And then Sunday, they fold. They fold hook, line, and sinker in the most embarrassing and cowardly way I have ever seen. And let me tell you, I've been disappointed by Democrats many, many times in my life. If you follow politics and you are on our side of the aisle, I'm sure you have been too. I have never been this disappointed. I have never been this angry. I have never felt this betrayed. Like, the only thing I can compare it to is when Biden, after the first debate, and was clear he needed to go, and they were just holding on to him. But at least that, I was like, well, I understand why things are happening this way. I get holding on to the incumbency advantage. At least there is a sensible, reasonable, if wrong, strategy going on here. This was just a self-inflicted clusterfuck of epic proportions, and I could not believe it. I posted yesterday, hey, do any mutuals want to come on and yell at the Democrats on a show tomorrow? And Carlos, probably my favorite yeller of all of our guests, the guy who can hop on a mic and spit some fire, he commented on that post. I was like, bro, you got to come join us. So Carlos, we'll get to you next, TJ. I do want to hear your take.
Yeah.
I've been seeing Carlos posting. I know how Carlos feels about this. I've not heard you say much. You mentioned
not a word. Not a word.
Yeah. So what has been your experience over the last 48 hours?
That do I think? Yeah, that was to TJ, right?
That was you, Carlos. That was you. Sorry.
Oh, it's me. Okay. Look, I spoke to a lot of the staffs of the senators involved, of the 8 senators. I had a really powerful conversation with Tim Kaine's senior staff, and I'm not going to name names, only to say I'm talking to the senior most members of his team. And they just don't see it. They just don't see it. They don't see, just like he went on TV and he was like, I don't think it's ripping the party apart. You're mischaracterizing that. Dude, it could not be, it's ripping the party apart. It's ripping the nation to shreds. Like, you're blind if you don't see that. And obviously, look, I have empathy for the fact that I believe Tim Kaine is a good human being who doesn't want to see people suffer. And I think he broke because he doesn't want to see people suffer. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt on that. I'm going to say the third paycheck for, federal workers who live in his state, the dude is under real pressure, right? He's a senator of Virginia, a state that hosts most of the federal workforce. Like, I get it. But as I told this team, like, we needed time for the reality that the Republicans created to set in, and for people to realize that connection between their increasing healthcare costs, between their increasing grocery bills, between the loss of SNAP and other assistance, that those things needed time to penetrate so that people understood that it really is the Republican Party that is trying to fuck you. And I just don't think the Democrats allowed enough time for that to happen. And I'm not saying we wouldn't have solved the shutdown in 3 weeks or right before Thanksgiving with a deal, because I think that the escalating situation with air traffic control, with all of these issues, was putting real pressure on Republicans to do something, right? Because otherwise you're just breaking the whole system. And I also see the point when people say, like, that's what they want to do. They want to break the whole system. But I want them to then feel the pressure that that creates, right? I want this to be consummated. And the fact that Democrats backed out at the moment of when the consummation was beginning is the worst case scenario because
You're
they
supposed
lost
to
all
pull
of
out
their
at the end of
leverage.
confirmation.
Right. Exactly. Right at Thanksgiving, you say, you know what? We've shown you how bad these people want to make the country. We're now going to walk this back and get to a better place. But the fact that we just kind of lost on two fronts, we lost in terms of damage that Republicans had already instituted that they get out of you know paying for, and the Democrats lose their messaging and they lose, and now it's all about the Democrats sucking again. So every time they win, we end up having conversations about how much we hate them. And then every time they lose, we have conversations about how much we hate them. So now we're in like constant hate for our own party. And frankly, the last thing I'll say is it really fucking pisses me off that I have to argue with my own allies this much and that I am more frustrated by my allies than I am by the evil, greedy other side. I should not have to spend this much fucking time. I spent 30 hours in total lobbying members of the Senate. I was up for 30 hours. I have not had to do that to deal with anything Trump has done or the Republicans have done. The Democratic Party is frankly the biggest challenge we're currently facing as a movement. And we delivered that election result. That election result didn't happen because the Democrats are great. It happened because the American people stood up and said, enough. And we did that, like as a people, as a movement. 43% of the nation identifies as a member of the movement. And that, I think that's a soft number. I think a lot of people, if you include boycotts like Disney and et cetera, I think that number grows, the Tesla people, et cetera. So we have the momentum, we have the movement, and the biggest thing that's killing our flow is the Democratic Party. And frankly, as somebody who has given everything he has to this movement and this moment, it really fucking bothers me that they're killing. As I told Tim Kaine's staff, and the main thing I said to them is, you guys didn't even ask us what we were doing and you blew up all our plans. It's like that person that walks into the middle of the surprise party and blows it because they didn't know it was happening, because they're not bothering to communicate with anybody because they think they know it all. They think they and by the way, these people are just so bad at politics. Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries, these people are the worst leaders I've ever seen. I don't know how you can call them leaders. I wouldn't follow Hakeem Jeffries out the door in any room, even if the room was on fire. I'd look.
Yeah.
I would desperately look for another person to follow.
Disappointing isn't a strong enough word. Devastating is what it, because I've been thinking about this since it happened. I haven't done a video on it. I haven't made any posts on it because I got to be honest here, fellas. It's getting hard to justify even caring about this now. It's hard to defend getting up here in front of microphones or posting or making videos when that is the opposition party. The only venue we have to actually get something done and get something accomplished. Because also, John, before I carry on, I do want to point out, I appreciate you writing "they died like a dog" in the chyron right there. That's great. I love that so much. But listen, I couldn't believe it when this happened, because what have we been dealing with Donald Trump 10 years now? In a decade, I have never seen Donald Trump so on the ropes. I have never seen it. His approval rating was in the 30s. The Republicans just got their asses kicked in an election. 144,000 jobs were lost in October. We were coming up on the precipice of the start of the holiday season travel, and we had air traffic controllers not showing up for work, long lines, and the Republicans they were in such bad shape. Donald Trump was begging for the filibuster to be suspended. Mm-hmm. And that was the moment the Democrats said, it's not working. We got to give up. Like, Carlos, you said you spoke to Tim Kaine's staff and everything. And I've seen so many Republicans talking about this on the air. And they mentioned that, well, we just weren't getting anything done. It didn't seem like it was helping stand up to Trump or anything. And listen, I will really Carlos makes a good point. I wrote it down too. at what point would it be too long? Because at some point I would say, okay, this is not working. We hadn't reached that moment yet. We were right about to get to the point where Republicans had to face the fact that they were in complete control of this and they could do something to change it, and they didn't do it, and we just let it go. Just absolutely let it go. And what kills me more than anything else is that I feel publicly embarrassed about this, because what have we been saying for this last month? We've been saying this shutdown is the Republicans' fault. And Donald Trump is saying, no, actually, it's the Democrats' fault. And what the Democrats do, they're saying, oh, yeah, it was our fault. It was our fault. We decided to do this for 40 days when, according to what they've been saying, at least the 8 that broke from this, I don't believe for a second Schumer nothing to do with this. People are saying he didn't go for it. He's the leader. He knew what was happening. The fact that the people who voted for it aren't up for re-election anytime soon, not a coincidence. So when they come out and say, well, we saw it wasn't working, so we went ahead and voted for it, that means you are taking fucking ownership of this. Those 40 days that you said didn't get anything done, and obviously, why'd you fucking do it in the first place? Now I look stupid. So why should I go to bat for you when you're not going to bat for the country? That's how I feel about it, John.
TJ, I could not agree more. There was, so this is only going to really be understood by the Philly followers out there. But there was a point. I think everyone is aware of Joel Embiid. We had a guy called Ben Simmons on our team. And I was such a Ben Simmons defender.
Ben Simmons.
I was out there defending him. I really loved his potential. And he had a lot of problems, a lot of glaring flaws. I got it. And then there's a playoff series. And the game is on the line. And he has the ability to jump up and dunk the ball. And he decides to pass it. Because he is a pussy who's afraid and folds when the pressure gets on. And that was the moment I realized, like, I'm done. I'm done with you. I have stood up for you. I have defended you. Fuck you. You are who they said you were, and I was wrong the whole time. And let's be clear, I'm not a defender of the Democrat. I'm a very harsh critic of the Democratic Party. I think all 3 of us are very harsh critics of the Democratic Party. But all 3 of us have also gone to fucking bat for them on this and many things because we recognize them as our best vehicle for change against the barbarians at the gate. Or by at the gate, I mean well inside the gate. We're now outside the gate banging to get in. But this was just a betrayal. This just threw us all under the bus. If this was the plan, if you were going to fold at this moment, you should have never fucking shut down the government in the first place. Because the argument you were making, which we helped you make, free of goddamn fucking charge, the 3 of us and thousands of others out there who have been fighting this fight in real life with their friends and family on social media, content creators, influencers, media pundits, everyone has been making this argument for the Democratic Party that it is the Republicans' fault the government is shut down because Republicans opened this can of worms in terms of negotiating using the government shutdown as leverage back in 2013. And if we aren't going to be willing to negotiate that way, well, that's just bad game theory. So we have to. And the fact that they will not negotiate at all means it's their fault. And you know fucking what? We were winning. We were winning by every objective metric. You could look at it and go, yep, Americans are blaming Republicans. Polling data, election data, everything. We were winning. The Republicans were in disarray. If anyone doesn't believe me, I just want to show this. This is an excerpt from a Zedio article. And Zedio reached out to Trump aides and said the Trump White House, for its part, is cackling, sometimes literally, about the turn of events. 2 White House officials and 2 other Trump advisors could barely contain their giddiness when asked by Zedio about the latest instance of the Democratic elite capitulating to Trump. Multiple Trump aides and allies kept gratuitously using terms such as losers and pussies as they reveled in the relief from a shutdown that even President Trump acknowledged was getting Republicans killed politically. The Republicans are celebrating. Trump is celebrating. They are laughing at us. And they're right to. This was
They should be laughing. Yes.
Yeah. I as much as I hated Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, I'm fucking done with them. They could literally save my mother's life, and I'd still say resign, step down, you fucking coward pussy. And that kind of leaves us at what fucking now, Carlos? What are, I know you've been working your ass off trying to get anything done to get the Senate to not agree to this. Obviously, that has not been working. we're trying our best, but what now?
Actually, that part's easy. I found it interesting. First, I'll go back to what you guys were talking about. I'm a communication strategist, what I do for a living. Um, if you allow the other guy, when you're winning that big, to say in a truthful way that the Democrats shut down the government for nothing, that's something that Republicans can now say.
Yep.
That is a 180-degree turn that they can now use factually. Democrats shut down the government for no reason is something that Republicans can now say. That pisses me off to no end because a minute ago, we swept in an election, literally won everything that could be won because we had the momentum, not just of the shutdown, but of the movement. And we were kind of beyond the Democrats. And so what's next? I'll tell you. When we started American Opposition, we had a three-phase strategy. First was national protests to get people out the door. The second was direct action to point that energy where it needed to be, right, to create pressure. And then the third phase is a campaign season program to replace useless Democrats in the primaries, rebrand the party, kind of do what the Tea Party did to the Republicans, but do it to the Democrats for the better, right, so that we could rebrand the party. Now, in the movement, there are different organizations that operate in different ways. So you have people like Indivisible, which is primarily a C3, C4 operation. So they are, they also have a super PAC, but I think the idea there is that they operate sort of in a safer space. We're the more aggressive wing, and between us is 50-51, and they kind of go and meet us both where we are. And the fact that Ezra Levin, the co-founder of Indivisible, came out and said, I no longer believe in Democratic leadership, and so we're going to mount a campaign so that nobody in the primaries is going to get Indivisible support unless they promise not to re-up Chuck Schumer as leader, means that, it means that our original vision is good, right? It's our original strategy is bearing out the way we expected. But B, it means that if Indivisible's identity comes from working with Congress and working with Democrats. That's who they are, right? Ezra and Leah, they used to work for the party. They worked in Congress. They are of that world. So I actually find some hope in the fact that if Ezra and Leah are that pissed, that they're sort of adopting our more aggressive stance, then that means a ton of people are coming with them to our party, which is all about creating real pressure and replacing these motherfuckers to the tune of 30% of the party. And frankly, that is our entire mission now. Let's get rid of the shitty Democrats. Let's turn the Democratic Party into an American opposition party that can actually stand up and defeat Donald Trump. And in some ways, the anger at the party, we as a movement can leverage it to replace the party. So in some ways, Democrats just gave us a gift, which is the energy to say, whoever was doubting us, because for a long time I heard people tell me, Carlos, you have to be nicer to Democrats. Don't eat your own, blah, blah, blah. I think all of that shit is out the window now. We have a total permission structure now to replace shitty Democrats with better Democrats, rebrand the party as a fucking opposition party, and then go out and take that party for a run in the general election and fucking replace every single Republican. And that is my mission. That is our mission. That is now Indivisible's mission. I know a lot of people across the movement suddenly are on our boat. And to be honest with you guys, like, I'm excited because we now have the energy and the anger and the fucking passion we need to deliver on that shit. And I'm going to do that shit. Like, I know I'm speaking for myself and my organization. That is what we're going to fucking do. And I am no longer feeling bad about throwing Democrats under the bus. I'm no longer asking for permission. I'm no longer looking to them for anything. If you're a shitty Democrat, we're going to come after you and we're going to make this party the party we need it to be. So fuck these people. Fuck Chuck Schumer. Fuck Hakeem Jeffries. They had their turn. We had as much patience as we could with their fecklessness and their shittiness. Fuck those guys. We're done with them.
Hey.
I swear to my life, those guys will not be leaders in the next Congress. They just won't. This is fucking over. We are going to change this party.
I don't know what other solution you can come to because we all So, Carlos, I'm curious of your thoughts on this because a lot of times we get people saying that the Democratic Party isn't really in there to push for progressive policies or ideas; that they're just controlled opposition. They're just there to, be the kayfabe with wrestling and everything like that. Don't take them too seriously. And I always dismiss that. I said, listen, there are like actual moderate Democrats out there. I know people have a hard time believing that, but some people really do see that. This time, I got nothing against because I what was in it for the Democrats to fold when all the cards were in their hand? I can only think of one. I can only think of one reason that they would actually do this. I know what they say. My guess is maybe they were afraid the filibuster was going to be broken, or not broken, but suspended or work around, and they had that in their favor. But they're not helping this by their explanations. Actually, who was this? I forgot the name of this guy that I have here. This senator. This was fuck off.
It was Tim
Angus
Kaine.
King. Angus.
Oh, Angus King. Yeah.
Angus King. This is Angus King talking to Joe Scarborough, and listen to what he says for his reasoning for why they buckled on this. Just tell me if this makes any sense to anybody.
You have to go back to what the strategy was at the beginning of the shutdown. There were two goals, both of which I support. One was standing up to Donald Trump. The other was getting some resolution on the ACA premium tax credit issue. The problem was the shutdown wasn't accomplishing either goals, and there was there was zero likelihood that it was going to. In terms of standing up to Donald Trump, the shutdown actually gave him more power. Exhibit A being what he's done with SNAP and SNAP benefits across the country. Oh, by the way, Joe, you're going to love this. Guess who's getting paid during the shutdown? Not the park rangers or air traffic controllers. The ICE agents.
So their goal was twofold: to show that they could stand up to Trump and show that they fight to get the credits for the ACA. Mm-hmm. They showed neither. Neither, right? Like why? Yeah, the ICE agents got paid. Yeah, we know that Trump's cronies are getting paid. We got that. That's not going to deter us from the fact that you set out with two goals. And now you're saying, well, I guess that wasn't likely in the first place. You guys do this for a living. You know exactly what the Republicans think. In fact, what was the best case scenario for what you had? It's like, oh, everyone realizes that the Republicans are screwing us over. All the polls say the same thing. Trump is panicking. The Republican politicians are panicking. What else do you want? Like, I don't know how it could have gone any better in your favor, and you still folded like this, John. Or I guess Carlos asked you, what do you think the reason that? I know you mentioned with the Tim Kaine folks and everything, but it is suspicious that the people who did break were the ones who are essentially not going to be punished. They're either not going to run for re-election, or their re-election or primary so far away that people aren't going to remember this a year from now. We will, but your average person and your average voter, I doubt that they're going to remember this 2-4 years from now. Certainly. What do you think their goal is with actually caving like this?
Well, I do think that they are in some ways, whether, by the way, being controlled opposition doesn't always happen intentionally, right? You can be, look, I work in strategic communications, and my job sometimes is to put people on tilt, which is a poker term for compromising them, right? In espionage, you see it all the time where people become assets because but they don't even know it sometimes. You know what I mean? So if a smart strategist can put you in a situation where you're serving their interests without knowing it. And I think that that's what the Republican Party has done to the Democratic Party over the last 50 years. And the only times that has been interrupted is when huge personalities like Bill Clinton and Barack Obama come to play, right? And they can overwhelm that. But that's the only times Democrats have been effective, is when they're under the leadership of super charismatic, powerful leaders. And we don't have that right now. So I think, archetypally, the Democrats represent weakness, and the Republicans represent strength in a very foundational sense. And so they're just living up to who they are. And, and frankly, in this environment, as I told Tim Kaine's staff, if you had a trial right now with a truly impartial jury that didn't know shit, and one side was arguing that the Democrats are incompetent and the other side was arguing that they're complicit, the complicit argument would win. That's what it looks like. It looks like complicity. But what it actually is the result of a 50-year strategic campaign by the Republican Party to put the Democrats in the untenable position of always being the people that have to think about the people, right? That have to actually give a shit. Republicans don't have to give a shit.
Nope,
They don't have to save anybody. They can just make you hungry, and they don't have to apologize for it even. They don't have to care. And that is the structural condition that we are operating under. And it was brought to us by the Democratic Party. And until we break free of that and stop being their little bitches, we will continue to have to allow them to destroy things. And then we are supposed to be the adults that fix the thing or that prevent the worst. In this case, what needed to happen was we needed to show the American people what happens when you let Republicans govern. That's what we needed to do. And we didn't need to show it for more than 2-3 weeks, but we needed to show it. And the Democratic Party collapsed on this at the exact wrong time. And we as a movement had a whole plan built out through the 22nd to show people what happens when Republicans do what Republicans want to do. It fucks up everything, not just air traffic, grocery prices. The entire country comes to a standstill because these people can't run a fucking country, let alone Donald Trump, who bankrupted fucking casinos and is now trying to run the United States of America. Like, give me a break. But we needed to show people the reality of the Republican governance experience, and we failed to do that because these feckless assholes failed to stand up. It bothers me to no end because we had the perfect opportunity to crystallize everything that these people are, and we fucking failed. And frankly, it's because they care. And to some degree, and this is the part that breaks my heart, I care too. I don't want people to go hungry, especially during the holidays. I don't want people to not have Thanksgiving dinner. But if we need to surrender that this year, if that's the sacrifice we need to make to show people that this is untenable, that who we said Donald Trump is exactly who he is, that he's worse than they ever imagined, because people don't pay attention. So maybe they would have actually paid attention when they can't make that dinner, or when their kids are really trying to figure out where they're, where they're going to get their next meal. And like, I hate to make those mistakes, but those have to be the stakes because we're a country where we're being ruled by Nazis. So again, I just feel like it was a missed opportunity, man. This should have gone on 2 more weeks, and we should have locked this in.
Or not at all, right? Like, or not at all. Like,
exactly.
If you're gonna come to that conclusion, no. And John, I see you got something pulled up, but there's a comment I have to address real quick, my friend. And this is from Eric, bunch of letters and numbers and stuff. But he writes, "In my 72 years on this planet and no history, Donald Trump is the best president we've ever had." Now, listen, I am not a religious man. But I am setting up a prayer right now to God, to Allah, Buddha, Satan, any supernatural deity out there. Please do not allow me to grow up to be a 72-year-old man who makes comments on tiny YouTube channels. This is like, that future is that I don't wish on anyone. I feel bad for Eric and his pathetic life. Go out and enjoy time with your grandchildren or something, man. But Jesus Christ, 72, do something productive. My God.
Not only that, it's Eric. I apologize for laying it out this way, but your ignorance is astonishing. Donald Trump, everybody who knows anything about politics will tell you immediately that what you're saying is false. And the reason I know that is because there is not a single economic indicator that is better today than it was when he took office. The only person to be responsible for more American deaths than Donald Trump was Adolf Hitler. And it's close, because Donald Trump caused 400,000 unnecessary deaths from COVID through his mismanagement of that pandemic. So literally, Hitler had a war that killed as many people as Donald Trump killed in peacetime through his sheer incompetence. Never mind that the dude paints himself orange and is literally walking around shitting his diapers and can't stay awake during any meeting, and is married to a hooker. And like, dude, wake the fuck up. Where are you? What are you talking about?
Carlos,
Eric, what the fuck are you talking about, bro?
Carlos wearing 3 inches of orange makeup and girdles and heels
What the
and
fuck are you talking about, Eric?
that's peak masculinity right there.
Dude.
Complaining about daytime television shows all day long. That's
All day,
the
he watches
pinnacle
TV all
of
day.
manhood. Yes.
He goes into the office at noon. He fucking doesn't do anything. He can't tell you what countries border the United States. He
No.
couldn't point out the United States on a map. The dude literally speaks at a 5th grade level, not because he's trying to connect with people, but because he doesn't have any language beyond that. What the
I
fuck
agree.
are you talking about, Eric? What?
Hard agree. We got a comment here from narrator 6896. Nothing Dems and their donors fear more than a populist moderate. Better do something to muffle that working class energy. Thank you for that, narrator. And I also want to, we'll send this $5 and 95 more to anyone who can send us a video clip of Donald Trump speaking coherently on any policy for 5 minutes. Like any clip you can find of Trump making like serious commentary, talking about the ins and outs of any policy you name with any specificity whatsoever. $100 to you. That offer is always open. Trust you're never going to be able to fill it. Sorry, John. Go ahead. What you got for us?
So as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, I put out just a post yesterday of like, yo, anyone want to come on the show to vent about the fucking Democrats right now? And Carlos, I'm so glad you commented. You are the exact right person that we wanted on this show today because we need your energy right now. I absolutely love what I'm hearing from you because I know you're hearing from a lot of people who are way more important, way more influential than me. And this is what I mean, we've been saying this for months now. We've been saying this since before the election. Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries, that entire wing of the party is incompetent. They are not wartime leaders. They are going to fold when the chips are on the table. Is what we've been saying, and this is what they did. And it's not just, I want to be very clear, it's not just one decision or the other. It's that they chose the worst possible outcome imaginable that they created for themselves. They did not have to start the shutdown negotiations. I wanted them to, but they didn't have to do it. But if they were going to do it, then you gotta be willing to fucking hold. You have to be willing to let people get hurt because at the end of the day, this is a goddamn trolley problem. Either people get hurt now or way more people get way more hurt. Not just with the ACA thing. Like even if we were just comparing the human cost of allowing this government shutdown to extend, say, another month versus the human cost of just the ACA extensions that are going to be costing our healthcare, like people tripling their fucking health insurance premiums. Thousands, if not, I don't think we're going to get to millions, but hundreds of thousands of people are going to lose their health insurance. We are going to see death tolls in the tens of thousands.
No, it's gonna be 1.7 million people won't be able to afford the new rate. That's the estimate. So it is over 1 million. It's almost 2 million Americans that are not going to be able to afford the new rates for the same plan they had this year, next year. That's about to happen.
And if you're going to tell me, hey, like people are getting hurt, we need to step in and help them, like that's fine. But this was the known outcome when you decided to start these negotiations. If you were unwilling to let people go without pay for more than 3 weeks, you should have never fucking done this. You were never man enough to play ball. You are not up for this game. And so you should have just not done it because now,
I mean, the first time they did it, at least they just never did it, right? So they collapsed at the beginning. But I will say, like, I'm reading a little bit of the chat, which I never do. I never read comments because in life that's a road to perdition. But I'm reading a little bit here, and I want to address some of this. Look, you can say Joe Biden was old and Joe Biden was in trouble. But even despite being old and in trouble, Joe Biden averaged 247,000 jobs added per month. He didn't have a single month where we lost jobs in this country. He averaged tremendous economic growth coming out of the pandemic. The dude got an infrastructure package passed that 30 years of presidents had failed to pass, despite having the smallest split in the Senate ever. So you can say what the fuck you want about Joe Biden, Ozzy, but Joe Biden kind of crushed it at being president. And the net result was a better country. And Barack Obama kind of crushed it at being president. And Bill Clinton crushed it at being president. And I don't remember anybody saying George W. Bush was an excellent president.
Yeah.
George H.W. Bush was only there for one term because he caused a recession. Ronald Reagan was the last president that anybody said did any good. And it wasn't on the economy. It was on foreign policy because, yes, he was better than most in terms of projecting strength during an era when that meant something. But the reality is all your presidents, including the current one, have been shitty fucking presidents. And more than that, shitty human beings. When was the last time Donald Trump had a concert at the White House or any kind of cultural event? When was the last time he brought a poet or the poet laureate to come and pronounce some words at the White House? When was the last time that Donald Trump showed any humanity and celebrated a movie he liked or a fucking song he liked? The dude listens to YMCA for real. Like, that's what he enjoys.
Unironically, he loves it.
Are you fucking kidding me?
He loves it.
What are we?
Yeah.
Literally, he listens to Celine Dion and fucking YMCA. And I don't care who the fuck you are. I want to be very clear. Look, I have been a winner my whole life. I have spent my entire life crushing it in life, trying to really hard to fucking, have the life of everybody's dreams. And I've had it. Man, Ferraris, Monaco, you name it, I've fucking been there. LA, New York, you fucking name it, I have been there. I know the life you fucking incels aspire to because I've had it. And I don't have to be an asshole to get it. And nobody does. We don't have to be assholes to deliver, to date models and whatever. If your fucking dreams are that basic and you're that basic ass human, you still don't have to be a fucking asshole to get it. Elon Musk is the richest man on earth and he's a fucking loser. You, Ozzy, bullshit, writing bullshit. You're a fucking loser, bro. Nobody gives a shit. You're just angry at yourself because you never got what the fuck you wanted. And the reason you didn't get it is because you're angry at yourself. You're a self-fulfilling prophecy of failure. So please, shut the fuck up because nobody gives a shit. Your words on this fucking chat are not going to change my life. I'm not going to be thinking about them beyond this little diatribe at all. I'm never going to think of Ozzy Crosby 2092. I don't give a shit about you. I never will. All right. And if you want to come and find me at one of my events, I'm a fucking boxer. Good luck. But in the end, I will tell you this. We need to be better people. A Kim Kardashian country elects Donald Trump. So let's stop being fucking a Kim Kardashian country. Let's start being fucking better than Ozzy Crosby 2092 or whoever
I don't
the
think.
fuck.
I don't
Honestly,
think that'll be
come
hard
on,
to
man.
do. Yeah, I don't think that'll be hard to outshine
not,
Ozzy. Yeah.
I hope not, but every fucking day this country surprises me with
Yeah.
the shit that we choose to celebrate. You know what I'm saying?
True.
Fucking,
True.
It's terrible.
John, were you going to show this clip? It looked like the same one I pulled, or is it a continuation?
I wanted to show this clip because the clip that you showed cut out just before the best part.
Oh, okay.
And I just wanted to show that part here. So I'm going to add this to the stage because it just, I cannot believe when I heard this, I could not believe my ears.
Air traffic controllers, the ICE agents, under special law, under that big awful bill that they passed last summer, the ICE agents are being paid. Nobody else is. So standing up to Donald Trump didn't work. It actually gave him more power. Well, Joe, you have to.
That was best. Oh my God, that's great.
Work.
Oh,
I don't care. I don't care
no.
if that is the most true statement since when
no.
come down. You don't fucking say that. That is like
That's a level.
I
that's
think
a
that guy
level of
jacks off the
loser.
fucking pictures with Neville Chamberlain in his fucking free time. Like that is the exact opposite of what you do in an opposition party. It's insanity.
Wow.
That dude's porn. Like he goes on Pornhub and searches Neville Chamberlain, and that's where he goes.
That's great.
That's what makes him excited. Because
He
honestly, that level of
plays a male
loser.
Carlos, he plays a male prostitute who dress up as Neville Chamberlain and fuck his
You're
wife
right.
up.
Exactly.
That's how that guy gets off.
In front of him, right? He's a cuck. Yeah.
Exactly.
No, look, I will say this. Angus King's son is running for governor in Maine.
Yes.
And so Angus King isn't up for re-election, but his son is up for election.
Let's punish the kid. I'm for it. Yeah, let's go. Yeah, let's go.
Angus King the third is not going to be the governor of Maine if I have anything to say about it, because fuck
Hey,
that guy.
yes,
That guy.
absolutely. Yeah, I agree. All the Republicans who don't know anything about history are wondering, like, who's this Neville Chamberlain guy they keep talking about? They're really confused right now. But I did write down a comment or a question earlier in the show, which I'm glad you brought that up, John, that clip, because my question I wrote down here is, what lesson did the Republicans learn here? If you are a Republican congressman or a Republican senator, or just a Republican in general, the lesson you just learned was the Democrats may scream, they whine, they complain, they may stop your progress, but they will fold. And they will fold quicker than you think. It doesn't matter how low you get, they're going to collapse. And that is the devastating part. That Carlos, you talk about how this is a radical reorganization of the Democratic Party, and that's what's really got me down the most these past couple of days, I think. Because, yeah, it was these 8 people that did it, and Chuck Schumer definitely knew, like he was definitely aware of this, but other senators were too. That thing, that it's not like earlier where we had Manchin and Sinema that we knew, oh yeah, they're gonna buckle. They've openly admitted this or whatever. But I don't think it's just 8. I think it's more. I think it's a lot more than that would have folded on that, and that's pretty devastating. And I have a clip I wanted to show here, and this is another senator. This is Senator Cortez Masto, who spoke out about this buckling on it, and this absolutely floored me. I got to get you guys' response to this. Well, and mine too. But here we go.
This fight tonight is. I agree with Senator Angus. It's just the beginning. This is the beginning to show and fight for Americans across the country. Let me just say this. With the government open, we can focus on passing a full bipartisan budget for 2026 that starts with a minibus that will restore funding that President Trump cut. It delivers millions of dollars in critical funding to states like Nevada all across the country. And you will hear, blocks the administration from future rifts. We have an opportunity also to put Republicans on the record on the ACA. Are they committed to doing this? Are they committed? Leader Thune said he would come to the table on a health care once the government was open, and now he must follow through. If Republicans want to join us in lowering costs for working families, they have the perfect opportunity to show the American public. I expect Republicans to be at the table in the next few weeks. I expect the White House to be at the table. And if they do choose not to come to the table, they can own the disastrous premium increases that will continue to rise. They will own the fact that Americans across this country are going to lose access to health care. We were elected in the Senate to work on real solutions that help working families.
I could not believe what I was hearing when she was up there saying, no, we did this because now the American people will get to see if the Republicans are ready to go on record saying they want to raise your health insurance. They already fucking said that. That's what the whole fight was about in the first place. They already went on record saying, yeah, we want to take away these credits. We want health insurance to go up. Ostensibly, that's what created the crisis of the shutdown in the first place. So you coming up there saying, now we're really going to know. This will really show them. This is going to show the American people that the Republican Party, who for 17 years now have been saying our goal is to destroy Obamacare, to see if they're going to go on record saying they want to destroy Obamacare. Yeah, I think they are. I think they're okay with health insurance premiums going up. Here's the kicker. If they don't do it and the health insurance premiums go up, it will also say the 8 Democrats voted for it are okay with it too. That's the part that doesn't make any sense to me. It's like, yeah, you lose either way here. And then we didn't even mention this. I can't believe this, that we sold this out not for the reduction in healthcare costs. We sold it out for a vote in one house of Congress, like with a vote in the Senate. Mike Johnson already said, fuck that. I'm not voting on anything. So if it clears the Senate, which it won't, it's not going to get a vote in the House. Even if it got a vote in the House, it wouldn't pass. And if it passed, Trump wouldn't sign it. What did we win here? What did we win here, John?
It is that explanation is so mind-numbingly dumb. I can't believe anyone actually believes it. Like, I cannot
I
believe.
can't either. I can't either. I can't either. Yes.
I don't know how the words escape me. Like, we're going to see if the Republicans really mean it this time. What have they been showing you for the past fucking month? If they didn't want to do this, why have they been shutting down the government? They could have just fucking agreed to it. What do you mean a vote? We already know what the outcome of the vote is. Wait, what do you mean? First of all, no one gives a shit what any congressman has ever voted for. This has never mattered in any election in the history of fucking ever, because no one pays attention to how congressmen vote. They pay attention to what political parties look like. That is the most important thing. And right now, Democrats look like a bunch of pussy-ass bitches. They just spent the last month arguing that, hey, we need to stand strong and do this and make a stand for American healthcare. And okay, and Americans are like, we got you. We believe you. We're on your side. And what they just said was, fuck, I don't want to stand up for American healthcare anymore. I want to just throw it to a vote with the Republicans. That's what I want. I'm done standing up for you. That's what everyone in America just watched Democrats say. They watched them say, I'm done standing up for you. Standing up to Donald Trump doesn't work. We might as well capitulate and just allow shit to happen. That is the message. That's the only thing anyone's going to remember. When 2026, when the midterms come around, they're not going to be looking up who fucking voted on the ACA vote that no one's going to give a shit about because everyone already knows the outcome. They're going to be like, yeah, no, the Democrats are fucking pussies. The Republicans, they're assholes. But you know what? At least the assholes, I know where I stand with them. That's it. That's the entire
And
fucking... And that's what
we have to be dicks because dicks fuck pussies and they also fuck assholes. So
Or back to Pornhub
that's
again.
that's the Team America monologue. And no, listen. Not only that, guys. If you think about it this way, the American people were already blaming Republicans for the shutdown, so you don't need to put them on the record.
Nope.
Like, you don't have to. Everybody knows it's the fucking Republicans doing this. So it's what, and literally that was one of the arguments that Tim Kaine staff made to me was, oh, we're putting them on the record. I'm like, you guys think that matters because it matters up on Capitol Hill. It doesn't matter to anybody else in the country. We were winning this fight. People were blaming Republicans. And frankly, if you're not willing to let the Republicans govern and crush the nation to show that that's what happens when Republicans govern, then you are not, what are you basically doing? You're going to say, they can just take hostages and we're going to capitulate. And so they're just going to keep doing it over and over and over again. That's going to be the entire strategy. And last time, by the way, the last time we avoided a shutdown, we said this to Chuck Schumer and to Hakeem Jeffries. Remember? We said, guys, if you break now, you're going to break later. And sure enough, here we are. And they broke again. Except this time they did it after 40 days, which again, I would have minded it less if they had just broken from the beginning and said, we are bitches. That is who we are. That is our identity. We're going to own it. And we're going to fucking capitulate.
Yeah.
Going back to...
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead, Carlos.
No, just going back to what you were talking about, Cortez Masto, all of these, the Nevada delegation, like, these people are not seeing the forest for the trees. Yes, we do. Donald Trump's going to hurt. He's going to hurt. This decision that this country made, this ludicrous decision to elect this orange fucktard, is going to hurt. We have to make it hurt so that people realize that when you vote Republican, you get pain. That's and by the way, ironically, his supporters get more pain than our people. The Democratic Party had an opportunity here, not just to build a narrative of Republican failure, but to contrast that with Biden and with Obama and with Clinton, to say, look, every time we're in power, the economy booms. And I can spell out a simple statistic for anybody in the chat who thinks I'm full of shit. From 1928 to 2008, there were 40 years of Republicans in power and 40 years of Democrats. Democrats averaged twice as much economic growth. And here's the kicker. If you had invested $10,000 in the S&P 500 in 1928 and left it in the market during Republican administrations only, And if you don't count the Great Depression, which happened under a Republican president, you would have ended up with $50,000 in 2008. If you had invested the same amount over the same period under Democratic presidents, you would have ended up with $311,000. So that's 6 times plus change more a stock market performance. You had greater job growth. And here's the irony. Republicans say that they're fiscally conservative. They spent more money over the 40 years. So if you add up all the money they spent and adjust it for inflation, and you add up all the money spent by the 40 years of Democrats, Republicans spent more money. They're lying to you on everything. So whoever the fuck is doing strategy for the Democratic Party seriously needs to quit their job, apologize to the nation, and literally go do nothing, because you're never going to succeed at anything. This is the worst political outcome I have ever seen. I have never seen politics done this badly in my entire life. I've worked in politics at the highest level for a very long time. This fucking shit is malpractice. Dude, it's like taking to somebody's it's like operating on the wrong leg, but doing it 10 times in a row on the same fucking day.
It's so bad. I refuse to believe they don't understand it. I refuse. Like Carl said, you can't be in the game this long and not. You don't make it. You don't fucking make it to be a U.S. senator without realizing when your opponent is weak, or how to capitalize on your opponent being down for the count. There's no way you don't recognize that. So, I mean, granted, I'm not a senator. Maybe they know something I don't, but they aren't telling me. They sure as hell are not telling me how this is going to help us. And Carlos, you're the one who brought this up. And it's another thing I wrote down here. You said that Trump's staff is laughing and everything. A good way to figure out if you won or lost is your opponent happy. Is your opponent happy?
No. Wait. If Stephen Miller calls you a loser, you're a fucking loser, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Dude, if your life makes it so that Stephen Miller can legitimately look at you and go, you're a loser.
Yeah.
And if he has a point.
Yes.
I would never advocate for suicide, but I'm just saying I would understand. You know what I mean? Like, dude, you're all out. That's it. If Stephen Miller has the claim of loser over you, bro, you've got to do some serious thinking about who the fuck you've become, you know?
Yeah. Like if Stephen Miller says that you're a loser and other people are like, man, that guy's spitting, you are in trouble. You've got some problems ahead of you. Yeah. And Carlos is gone, but Carlos mentioned that the deep state got to him. But Carlos was talking about how the mess, like Republicans have been backing bad policies. They say that they want fiscal responsibility. Republican presidents spend more than Democratic presidents. They have worse returns with the deficit and the debt across the board for the last 100 years. But I mean, the problem is that Republicans, they don't care. They say they care, but they don't. Like we always, like, what do we say on the show all the time, John? That Republicans don't learn their lesson. Like, regular people might learn, but Republicans never do. That no matter how bad life gets, they're going to keep supporting Republicans. Just like, Alabama is the example we always use. Like, if everything collapsing and falling apart actually made people vote against Republicans, they would have stopped voting Republicans a long fucking time ago with the Deep South. But they don't. Like, they've been backing them for 60 years now. The coal miners in West Virginia, like the worst state in the union, overwhelmingly Republican, the deepest red state we have. It's not going to change. But John, what do you think about all this? Well, we're running out of time. Sorry, go ahead.
No, we are running out of time. So there's a couple things I want to say here. One, this is, as you said, the worst thing I've ever seen in politics. Like, this is the dumbest, most self-inflicted wound. It's not like operating on the wrong leg, because the thing about that is that would imply that the doctor wasn't at fault for the leg being broken in the first place. This is like a doctor going to the doctor for a fucking flu shot, and he breaks your fucking leg and then operates on the wrong leg. That's a little bit more of an apt comparison to what we got going on here. And
fair enough.
You made a great point about how Republicans suck, and like, I agree. We'll have plenty of episodes about how Republicans suck. And we'll have plenty of time to talk about that. What I would like to circle back to as we end this show is that they're no longer my enemy right now. Like, to be perfectly fucking honest with you, it's important to beat them, but we need to eliminate Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries and all of the
Politically.
fucking the Tim Kaines, the fucking Agnes Kings, all of these pussy ass bitches. And again, it's not just the ones who voted against this. There are more of them. I want to be very fucking clear.
Not just that, guys. It's also not ideological. We have a
Yes.
lot of it's about authenticity. This
Yes.
moment is about who is authentic. I don't care if you're Zoran Mamdani. I don't care if you're AOC or Gavin Newsom and towards the middle or whomever. It's not ideological. It's all about, are you full of shit and do you have a spine? And Mamdani proved, because I don't think Mamdani won because of his policy ideas. I think he won because people like him. And
Yes.
Democrats, it's not that people disagree with Democratic politics. It's that people dislike Democrats because they're full of shit and they're weak and they're fucking feckless and they just talk and they talk at an 11th grade level so nobody understands what they're saying. So they sound like snobs and they talk to each other and they don't forget that other people exist. And all of those are legitimate fucking complaints because in 2020, nothing they read at lower than an 11th grade level, and the average American reads at a 7th grade level, so you're not fucking talking to anybody, and nobody's hearing you, nobody gives a shit. So the main point is stop being full of shit, have a spine, show up to fight for actual people. And then, by the way, somebody in the comments said that Obama was a populist and he ended up getting a lot of fucking money. Yes, not only during his presidency did he raise a lot of money, but after his presidency, he went and became a super rich guy because, frankly, he was authentic. He was real. And that's what people are looking for in leadership. And just don't try to claim credit. Don't try to make it about you. Try to serve people. Try to give them good stuff. Try to make their lives better. And I promise you, when you retire, people are going to be like, we're going to reward that guy because he deserves it. But if you focus on it in the meantime, if you're always just trying to get your job back, you never actually do your fucking job. And these people have spent their entire fucking lives getting old in the nicest fucking nursing home in America, which is the United States Senate. And these fuckers have forgotten who they serve or that they even serve. I mean, Tim Kaine is just so full of shit at this point that just, dude, you're literally not even vanilla because at least that has a flavor. You are whatever the powder, the white shit that just gets all over your mouth and it gives you cotton mouth. That's what Tim Kaine is. And I'm fucking tired of these people. I just don't want to deal with them anymore.
I agree. I agree.
100% right. I mean,
They need to get fired for a cause.
We were saying the exact same thing on Thursday. We don't pick our guests because they agree with us. Like, that's not how this works. Usually it's a pretty random message like, oh, I like this one post you had. Come on. And I love that you're saying the same exact shit we were saying on Thursday. It's Zoran Mamdani. We fucking love Zoran Mamdani. He happens to agree with our policies, but it's not fucking about that. It's about the authenticity, the energy. I can trust that guy that he's going to try and do what he thinks is right 100% of the time.
Right.
And even if
But
I
he's
think
gonna-
that thing is
He's
wrong,
going to disappoint you. But at
Yeah.
least, like, he loves his wife for real. He smiles for real. When he connects with a cabbie, look, I started my career as a taxi driver. So I have a strong love for people who like cabbies because cabbies know everything. Like, cabbies are fucking the most hyper-aware human beings on the planet. And if cabbies like you, you're not full of shit. And the fucking cabbies love them. So when you're voting, this is my message to everybody in fucking America. When you're voting, figure out who the cabbies like, who the nurses like, and vote for that person. Secondly, if that doesn't work, figure out who the Nazis are voting for and vote for the other person. It's fucking simple. And all of the Nazis support the Republicans. So if you're a Republican, you're currently on the Nazi side. So fucking figure that shit out. Unless you want to be a Nazi, in which case we get to punch you in the motherfucking face because America has a strong legacy of punching Nazis in the motherfucking face. That's what we do. So you know what? A lifetime ago, the saying was, the only good Nazi is a dead Nazi. Don't be a fucking Nazi. All right? Don't be that valueless. Fuck.
Amen. Like they say about Charlie Kirk. Was Charlie Kirk a good Nazi? No, but he is now. Okay, so we got. So we'll close things out a little bit. I wanted to. So Chris wrote here. We don't pick our guests because they agree with us. We do it because we like their posts. We agree with them. That's that's good, Chris. That's good. That's good, John.
Good. But yeah, no, I just to close this all up, we need to get them this needs to be a moment where everyone realizes, yeah, these guys need to fucking go, and all of the anger just needs to be placed in that direction because right now Democrats look weak as shit. They look weak as shit. We were in such strong position where I was riding high. I was like, we're gonna blue wave the fucking terms. We're gonna get a not trifecta, but we're gonna get a super majorities in the House and the Senate and the way things are going. And now this, and I don't fucking know, but I do know in order to get that momentum back, we need to eliminate the people who just fucking threw it away. And if we can do that, if we can primary these motherfuckers, if we can present a bold new face of the Democratic Party going into the midterms, those supermajorities are still on the fucking table. If we can get all of these fucking Agnes Kings replaced with Zohran Mamdanis, and like Carlos said, that's not a policy thing, that's not an ideology thing. They can be fucking liberal moderates, but they have to be ready to fight and they have to show a spine. If they can do that and we can get those people campaigning in the general, in the primary, that is how we win supermajorities in the House and the Senate. Hell, that might even be how we get Donald Trump impeached. That is the fucking bar for success for me, and I will accept nothing else, and I will stay this fucking angry until we accomplish it.
Amen.
Well, and the movement is going to power that, so the Democrats don't even have to fucking do that much, because this movement, 43% of the American people, which is a larger share than identify as Democrats, identify as members of this movement. So the Democrats don't even have to fucking do shit. They just have to stop fucking shit up. You know what I'm saying? Like, stop getting in our way. We've got this. We just showed it. We got them victories in everything. And it wasn't because they were great. It's because we fucking delivered, and we're going to keep delivering. Just get the fuck out of our way and stop trying to lead when your name is Chuck Schumer, because you can't.
And thank you guys all for watching. This has been a group therapy session. Carlos, before we wrap this up, I want people to know who have been watching. They might not have seen your last show, so tell them where they can find you and how they can support American Opposition.
Yeah, we're at AmericanOpposition.org. We suck at fundraising, so please donate. We're terrible. We're great at everything else, but we just suck at that. And yeah, I'm Carlos, American Opposition. Honestly, just you can Google Carlos American Opposition. We're pretty out there. We've been there. We were the first to call for national protest, and we've been here the whole time. And we're gonna fucking solve this with or without the Democrats. And thank you all for having me. Really appreciate it. You guys are awesome, and what you're doing is awesome. And I just really appreciate you guys having me on. And yeah, people can find me on all the social media. Don't find me, find American Opposition. The movement is way more important than I am. When this is over, I will definitely want to be forgotten. I don't want to stick around. I don't want to work in politics. I don't want to do anything else. I want to be done with my political life after this, but I will be here until this fucking danger is abated. And we're going to get this country back to solid ground. And we're going to give the American people another chance to make better choices. That's all we can do. And we're going to try and teach them why those choices are important. And we're going to try to get them to see why taking themselves and this country seriously is important. And we're going to try to remind them of what it is to be an American. Hopefully they fucking figure that shit out, because if we keep getting a Kim Kardashian country, we're going to keep electing Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a symptom of a bigger disease, and I'm here to try to cure it before it's too late. Because by the way, whatever happens in America impacts the rest of the world. The consequences of this, we have to be adults. We joke and kid all you want, but my job is a very serious job. It requires a lot of emotional intelligence to understand just how fucking serious the stakes are when this country is in this much trouble, and what the implications of that are for our military, for our citizens, and for the rest of the world. And I just want everybody to come along on the American Opposition journey, to join us as we figure this out, join us as we implement a strategy, join us as we deliver a result, because this country deserves to be represented by its best patriots. I will be here until somebody better replaces me, and I know a lot of people in the movement feel that way. But I am very proud to have the opportunity to help lead this movement and to help get us to a better place. So that's who I am. And again, I'm happy to, I'll be giving, we will be in DC on November 22nd for the Remove the Regime rally. If you haven't heard me give a speech, please come out. I will be speaking. Many others will be speaking. It'll be an all-star lineup. Dropkick Murphys are going to play. Earth to Eve is going to play. It's going to be sick. We're also doing 2 days of before the 20th and the 21st. We're going to be conducting the largest office visit to Congress in American history. And we're going to go get in their faces and show them who we are. And last time we were there, we went to Russell Vaught's house and fucking protested on his yard. And it turns out his neighbors love us now. So we're going to probably do that again. So yeah, if anybody's interested, please come out to DC the 20th, the 21st, and the 22nd. But if you can only make it one day, let that be Saturday the 22nd. We're going to demand the removal of this regime and start changing this conversation and start getting real about putting pressure in their faces relentlessly so that their kids have to ask them why everybody's calling them a fucking Nazi in front of their house every single fucking day, or when they go to a restaurant, or when they go to a movie, or wherever they are, because we are going to hunt these motherfuckers down. We are going to get in their faces. We're going to exercise their rights, and we're going to put their pressure on them that they put on us by treating us like shit. Enough is enough. This is not a one-way street.
Love it. I love it so much. And I love that you're on Threads, as Colby says. And Colby, yeah, I got to join the cool kids on Threads. I'll do what I can.
Yeah, and one more thing is the blackout. Thank you, Colby. We're doing a total economic blackout, and we just unified it. So everybody in the movement got together. We had all made different calls, and now we're unified it over the past 2 days. Fucking amazing. I just did an interview with USA Today about this. So beginning right now, the blackout for Black Friday is now a movement-wide blackout involving all of the organizations in the movement. And that unity, the fact that this movement is unifying around a shared vision, is fucking exciting as shit. So Black Friday, Cyber Monday, don't buy a fucking thing. Small Business Saturday, go to town. That's basically the message.
Cool. Fantastic. Anything else, John?
Let's wrap that up. Thank you very much, Carlos, for being here. You're always an excellent guest. Fuck Chuck Schumer. Fuck Hakeem Jeffries. Fuck every motherfucker who voted.
Most importantly, fuck Donald Trump. Thanks, guys.
Fuck Donald Trump.
Amen.
Good day.
Catch you guys later.